We are now ready to hear from our President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Can we all rise up as he takes the mic, please?
Thank you very much. We can sit down. The Honorable Chief Minister, Madam Maada Bio, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Members of Parliament, the High Commissioner and staff, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans. It's always a happy moment for me when I have to talk to Sierra Leoneans. Before I took over as the leader of the Republic of Sierra Leone, I pledged to change the narrative and history of our country. That is a tall order. But I'm confident and I believe that we can do it. I will lead, and together we can do it. Sierra Leone has started to change. Once known for war, one of the most cruel wars in Africa, hacking of limbs, once known for Ebola, mudslide, corruption, and all the vices that you can possibly think about. We are also known for the many mineral resources that we have. Gold, diamond, rutile, bauxite, you name it. But why are we poor when we are not poor? But that is the question. That is the collective. That is the question that needs our collective response. Have we planned ourselves, or have we managed ourselves properly? For me, I always say that I am just leading the process. My business is to inspire all Sierra Leoneans to believe that we have what it takes to plan ourselves and shed that negative image about war, about being poor, about being the most corrupt country in the world. Once the anthems of West Africa, now 3 out of every 5 adults cannot read or write. That is unacceptable for the century in which we find ourselves. We are not prepared, Africa and Sierra Leone in particular, for the first, second, and third industrial revolutions. We are either subjects of colonialism or slaves, and now the fourth industrial revolution is looming. Where are we? Are we going to lose out on this? Our business is to make sure that we pre-position Sierra Leone not to lose out on the fourth industrial revolution, which means that we have to take a quantum leap into the future. That quantum leap must be led, it must be organized. We must re-examine ourselves. What is it that we've done wrong in the past that makes us a poor country when we really are not poor? So ladies and gentlemen, what I did first was to attack corruption. Of course, when you attack corruption, it's going to fight back because it has been a way of life. It was fashionable to be corrupt in Sierra Leone, and it was with impunity. Several have cried foul, called it a witch hunt. But You call it the name you want to call it. I say that corruption is an enemy of the state of Sierra Leone, and it is responsible for most of the wars. We are going to fight corruption. And we must succeed in that fight if we have to give a forward momentum to the development strides that have been taken already. We should not relent. This is not about me, it is about us. I am only leading. Other nations have done it, we can do it. I just want to convince all of you that we can change the history of our country for our children and our grandchildren. It is that belief that is actually giving me the courage to fight on. And going around the country just before Christmas, I was pleased to note that our record as one of the countries with the highest maternal mortality rate will change. Because some young people have understood the message and are working independently to change this message, to change this picture. In Kabbalah, from about 40 women who would die in the hospital every year, it has been reduced to about 22 just in 1 year. They told me, and that was a similar picture I got from about 3 other districts. When we collect and collate the statistics, I will assure you that our next, in our next presentation, we have less than the huge numbers that have been presented for maternal mortality rate. And we are going to fight also to reduce the infant mortality rate in our country. Those are the images we are sharing. A lot of people have spoken about Maada Bio travels quite a lot. It is deliberate, it is intentional, and it is not something that I like, but I vied for this position. I said I wanted to take on the leadership. It was deliberate too, because I know I have what it takes to change, to start the change towards development. The Creole man say, "Waka for nati, better pass for solo for nati."
Exactly, that's good.
We have been able to bring in, to change many loans. Maybe the Minister of Finance will be able to give you the statistics. At least nothing less than 200 million from loans to grants. That is because of my personal intervention. The ministers have a voice, the foreign minister has a voice, but mine is deeper and more authentic. When people talk about Ebola in Sierra Leone, when people talk about corruption and they know what we are doing, I can speak better to those issues than any other person. We cannot sit at home in a world that is so interconnected and expect that things will be done for us. And for those who say that, I just want to let you know that I am here with so many other heads of state. I could have decided to stay, not to come to the UK, but we'll be losing out. I had to go to Abu Dhabi last week, from where I'm coming. Several heads of state from different parts of the world. Everybody is fighting to represent their country. And I also want us to know that no money goes to you anymore. The external assistance for development is dwindling. Nobody's sharing money anymore.
Enough?
That is the truth. You go for go Phenom. You have to go and convince them. They have to know that you are serious about corruption, fighting corruption. before they give you their money. And now we are talking about investment and trade. No more aid money. How do you get that? The Minister of Trade, and a lot of my ministers have been out, but they know what it means when I add my voice. So if I travel, I'm traveling not out of pleasure, but because it is part of my duty to change that negative image, to shed that negative image that we've had for so long. It is only by that means that our country will once again be reconsidered as a destination for foreign direct investment. And talking about foreign direct investment reminds me about what you in the diaspora can do. We're not just looking for foreign money. We also want you to be part of the development process. A significant amount of what you earn, you send back home. That helps us quite a lot. But we think that by virtue of your stay, study, work, socialization out of Sierra Leone, you've acquired so much skills, networks, and everything that we can encourage you to bring to bear on our development process in Sierra Leone. This is why I am particularly pleased to be here this evening, to invite you and to let you know that we are doing everything possible to create an enabling environment and a business-friendly ecosystem that makes it easier for you to go back to Sierra Leone, start a business, and really get profit from it. This has been a problem. Some of you might have had your fingers burnt severally. You've tried to build a house and the land is never yours. And you have to go to your piece of land with some soldiers or machetes, if you really want to go back and come back to London. So it's a lot of work. A lot of work. It's a tall order. And make no mistake, we are not going to be able to change this overnight. And that is when I always talk about patience. We have been very patient in going down the hill to where we are today. Now we have started the process to climb the hill. I ask for double patience. It is more difficult to climb than to come down. What we have promised and what we are doing is to make our country look good. It is not enough to have all the strategic mineral resources in the world under the subsoil and think that people are going to come to you. When they come as Mickey Mouse investors, fly by night. We have to be seen to be serious. We have to create the environment. And that is what we are doing. We are reviewing the laws to make sure that your investment can be protected, contracts can be honored, and that you can actually get business started without having a middleman. We are almost through with establishing the National Investment Board, of which I will co-chair with the Vice President. A one-stop shop where you can go, and once we know that this is an investment that we can support, we will make sure we accompany you to get your business started. We have incentives for those who qualify for those incentives. Duty waivers for those who qualify. The laws, the regulatory framework, and all other issues we have been working on. So I'm here to convince you, and for those who have been frustrated, to go and try again. Don't give up. Don't give up on Sierra Leone. We should never give up. That is the land that we love, and that is the only place we call home. Some people have to take visas, Sierra Leoneans, to go back home, which is not necessary. We are going to work on the double citizenship issue, which quite a lot of people have been grumbling about, and rightly so. We have all been out here, and coming out here doesn't mean you don't like home. Circumstances have led to that. And you want to go back home any moment. It should not be a sentence. So we are going to engage. It's a little politically sensitive because we have to take it through Parliament so that you can have double citizenship and also aspire to positions. At the moment, it's extremely difficult. That is going to be a serious campaign because those, how do we call them, home base, are also scared and jealous.
The competition is huge.
You guys go with those accents that are so difficult. You scare the hell out of them. So we are going to need your support when we table that, so that, but frankly speaking, it doesn't mean that because you are here and you have a British or whatever citizenship, you should be disqualified for. In fact, we want you to go back home. You have acquired the work ethics. You've acquired so much, and you can hit the ground running for people like us, because we don't want to have to tell you when to go to work. I don't want to be running up and down, you know, telling people to go to work. I don't want to be a headmaster anymore. Because of what we have done, in terms of controlling corruption, we have moved from a very lowly 47% to 79% this year, according to the MCC. We have put in place commissions of inquiry. That is not only for those who have served, but for us who are serving, to know that you will have to give stewardship. The ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is being strengthened and is working effectively. We have been able to get about 20 billion loans from people who stole and voluntarily. And of course, the commissions of inquiry will soon run up, and then we will know the recommendations. This is all meant to make sure that we have a new start, a new Sierra Leone, where corruption is not fashionable. Where we remove the impunity. When you are in public office, you have to account for what belongs to the state. When we started the free quality education, it was out of our own judgment that if we really have to be part of the 21st century and be able to take part meaningfully in the fourth industrial revolution, we should have an educated population. No mistake, no mistake. You cannot be part of the 21st century, a useful part of the 21st century, if you are not properly educated, appropriately educated. The skills that some of us have acquired are already obsolete. What is needed for the future is totally different. And we have to make sure, and very soon we are going to have a dialogue on the future of education in Sierra Leone, so that we know the type of education that we are going to give to our kids. We are not ready to be at the back anymore. The type of education that we are going to design is one that is fit for purpose for the 21st century, taking them into the fourth industrial revolution. I say this because with artificial intelligence, big data algorithm, the Internet of Things, these are things that we are only playing with now. We want native technologists, kids who can play around with these technologies. We don't want to be just users of it. We want our own children to be those who we fix code. If we don't plan, we are always going to lose. That is what is necessary to put us in a pole position to be able to move on. So when we talk about free quality education, we are just starting it. It's the access that we've made free. Now we are working on the quality. We have also provided the learning and teaching materials free. So it's not just tuition. We are providing food for them in some districts. Not all districts would love to do that, but it's extremely expensive. And guess what? We started to do this with no input from anywhere else in the world, rather than clamping on corruption, closing the loopholes, waste and fraud. Sometimes we are very unrealistic Sierra Leoneans. I hear them talk about the ground dry. You cannot expect to embark on a long and difficult journey like this to regain your glory and expect that it's going to be a smooth flight. There is going to be turbulence. There is going to be turbulence. Not once, not twice. But you know that the pilot is going to take you to a safe destination. That is the assurance I want to give you. Are we going to have problems? Yes, like all other countries in the world. Sometimes inflation, sometimes exchange rate, sometimes this. That is because we have taken off on a very, very difficult position. Huge international debt, huge domestic debt, double-digit inflation, a battered economy. What have we done in a very short time? The IMF, the World Bank had all deserted us because of mismanagement. We have been able, because of sound public financial management, they have all come back and we are working very hard. To move on, we just don't need political stability, but also macroeconomic stability. And that is what we have done in the past almost 2 years now. And that is bringing confidence. We are being cited as a very good example. So when people talk about the ground dry, it better make it dry now than it dry later. Yes.